Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a video for the 10 things I hate most about my R32. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Alright guys, so starting with number one, the first thing I hate most about my car is the paint. So like I said before, the car is, about 14 years old. It's pretty old. It's showing its age right now. There's a lot of clear coat peel on the car, which honestly, it's not great, just because I know in the next couple of years I'm going to want to repaint the car. So overall, that's probably my biggest bummer right now. I really just don't want to have to repaint the car, so that's definitely going to be a thing coming soon in the future. So right here's the first clear coat issues. It's just peeling off over the years. I also have clear coat peeling here right by the door, and some more clear coat peeling right back here on the hatch. So those are definitely some of the issues. Overall, there's also other nicks and chips going around the car, just because the car's driven every day and stuff like that. So there's definitely some issues that could be ironed out with the new paint. Alright guys, so the next thing I hate about my car has to do with the Supercharger Kit. So let me show you guys what I'm actually talking about. Alright guys, so currently here in the engine bay, that's my supercharger, as you can tell. I actually have two belts on here. One of them is a cog belt, that's the Exit 9 kit that I have, and the other part is my serpentine belt, basically. So these two kits, or these two belts, one runs the supercharger, the other one runs like my power steering and my air AC and all that kind of stuff. So the issue with the cog kit is after every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, the belt breaks on it. So as you guys can tell, there's actually no room inside my engine bay to really do any work to it. So like I was saying, after every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, that belt breaks. The cog belt has to come out. In order to change that belt, you actually have to pull out the whole entire supercharger setup, which can be a real pain to actually go in there and pull it all out. Also, once you pull that all out, the actual bottom cog that's attached to the crank is actually so close to the frame rail that you can't get a belt over it. So in order to actually get the belt on, you actually have to drop the one side of the motor low enough so then you can actually put the belt over the cog, so then you can actually then restring it all back up. So that's a real pain to actually do. Like I said, it happens about every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. So for me, I do it about once a year, or I do it once I about change my oil. So yeah, it's just a pain, something that I hate to do, and it's just one of those nuisance things that is just a maintenance thing that you have to keep up with the Supercharger Kit. Alright guys, so the next thing I hate about my car is the squealing on cold starts. I'm going to shoot right here to a video so you guys can actually hear what I'm talking about and see what I'm actually, what it's all about. Alright guys, we're going to start up my car so you can actually hear what the squealing noise is. I believe it's coming from where the supercharger is, so it's either the serpentine belt is loose and that's what's squealing, or it's the supercharger belt with a pulley. Not too sure exactly which one it is though. So as you can hear, this is the sound I'm dealing with. The next thing I hate about my car is on the interior. It has to do with the headliner. So let me show you guys what the headliner is starting to do. Since my car is getting so old, the headliner is starting to fall apart, as you can tell. So it's kind of just annoying, as you're driving and it's flapping all over the place, with the headliner falling out up here too. So yeah, don't like that part about the interior, but that could always be fixed. So while we're still in the car, I'm going to just talk more about some other things I don't like about the interior of the car. The next thing I don't like is the radio. I have an aftermarket stereo in the car, and it's just not well, I guess, put together. It's in a Pioneer unit, so it's a good unit overall, but just the cage that it's put in, it's not as secure. So when you accelerate fast or something like that, the actual whole radio actually slides back. And it also has been disconnecting the wires in the rear, so I have to go back in there and put the wires back together, solder them back together. So that's just a real pain. This is kind of what it looks like. And this happens every time I accelerate fast, and all the wires get all messed up in the rear. So the next part I'm going to talk about is my oil pan. So basically how the VR6 engine is set up, it sits really low, the oil pan. So when you have a lowered car, you tend to take out the oil pan a lot, which could be very dangerous for your motor. So I'm just going to show you guys exactly how low the oil pan is. So as you guys can see, there's my oil pan. It's a fairly low oil pan, and for the VR6, it's common that they have to hit speed bumps or changes in elevation in the road and they crack because it's an aluminum pan. So that's definitely another part I hate, because you always have to worry about trying not to hit stuff and cracking the pan. Alright guys, so the next thing I hate about my car, currently I have a weld on my cat that's must have broken. So my cat makes a lot of rattling noises at low RPMs. It's just really annoying because the VR6 sounds so nice, but it kind of takes away from the rattling you're getting from the cat. So I'll just show you guys exactly what that rattling sound is. Next thing I hate about my car has to do with my airlift suspension. I love airlift. I love the way the car looks when it sits. I love the way it drives and all that stuff. It has to deal more with the way it was originally set up. Like I said, I originally had a 3H setup in my car with the height sensors and everything like that, which was great. It was cool because every time you add more weight to the car, it automatically adjusts the car's height in order to compensate for the extra weight, which a pressure-based system doesn't do. But at the same time, all those sensors broke all the time, and I was replacing them. I replaced, I think, 5 of them. It was in the first year of having the 3H setup. So that's why I got rid of that setup. Also, that setup, I had 19-inch BBS CHs on there, and those wheels were really big for the car, and they basically destroyed my front fenders. So that's my fault for having those wheels on the car, but I'll just show you guys exactly what it did to the car. Alright, so over here on this side, if you get nice and close, you can see right here I got some chipping of the fender going all the way up and around. That's from my BBS wheels I had. Just because the wheels were so wide, they actually were hitting the fenders when I aired out. Also, if you look on the side, the fenders are actually pulled, so that's another part that has to be fixed. So I guess when I go to redo the paint on the car, I'm gonna have to also redo the fenders on both sides. This side's definitely the worst side, but the driver's side also has a pull in the fenders, and there's chip from the paint here, as you can see too. So the next thing I hate about my car is how expensive my car is to maintain and modify. For most German cars, Audi, Volkswagen, they're fairly more expensive to maintain and to modify components to them. So overall, it's a more expensive place to get into when you're going into cars. For example, like the R32, I'd say it's probably one of the more expensive cars if you want to like get boost out of it or something like that. Just because the VR6 motor is not actually really built to put boost through it. So adding like a supercharger, anything that's really like a low PSI system is not too expensive, but once you start getting up above 10 psi, it gets more expensive to modify the car for boost. For example, you're gonna have to lower the head compression for the car. Then you also start worrying about the internals for the motor, and once you start doing that stuff, it gets really expensive. To build a whole entire turbo car, if you can't actually do it yourself, it could cost up to $10,000 to $15,000 to build an R32, to get 500, 600 horsepower out of it. So it can be very expensive. If you're going for more like lower power, such as like maybe 300 wheel horsepower, my Supercharger Kit would be perfect for that kind of setup, and they're not too expensive. You can find them on forum websites for $2,000 to $3,000, and it's a pretty basic kit. It's a bolt-on kit, so definitely a more economic option to go with, the Supercharger Kit, compared to a turbo setup. But if you're going for that big power with like an R32, it's more expensive to get into that kind of stuff. So that's definitely a downside for my R32. Alright guys, so to wrap up this video, the 10th thing I hate about my car is the room in the engine bay. With the VR6 motor in that engine bay, there's absolutely no room to work at all, like I was talking about before with my belts for the supercharger. So that's definitely, I hate that so much about the car. The motor's a great motor overall, but like I said, there's absolutely no room here. Like, I'll show you guys again just so you can see. There's absolutely no room for anything. Wherever there is any room, it's taken up with plastics for the car. The supercharger is crammed in there, super tight. So there's absolutely no room to really do anything or add much to the engine bay. So that's definitely the last thing I hate about this car. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys got any help from it, or you guys have any other suggestions, please leave a comment below. Also hit the like button for this video, and please subscribe. It all helps, and I hope I see you guys soon.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.